I wanted to let Luke, because this is his big moment. He campaigned. Now, I think every time, Luke, every time I start to, like have you ever seen Total Recall, Luke? I don't know if you're old enough for it.
Long time ago.
There's a scene in the movie. I know Hannah Claire hasn't seen it. I'm not even bother asking her.
No, I know what we're talking about, but I'm excited for you guys.
There's a tracking device inside of Arnold's head, right? Do you remember that? And then he gets this like thing that goes up his nose and like pulls it out.
Yeah.
I every time that I'm like doing that to myself, pulling the black pill out, something like this happens. So now it's going on, what is it, 2 full weeks since the 100 people were discussed with Ghislaine Maxwell. Then Ghislaine Maxwell was moved to a minimum security prison where she was already in a light security prison. So it's not like she went from like 23-hour a day lockdown to, but she did go to a lighter security place, to indictments, to subpoenas. Now Ghislaine Maxwell doesn't want her grand jury transcripts released. Well, first of all, she has no say in the matter. Second of all,
the judge who covered it up and is a liberal and probably won't release it does.
Yeah. But like, what is going on here now? What's the latest? And like, why haven't they released this now? It's been 2 weeks. Like, why did you go depose her in the first place if you were never going to release it?
You know, the New York Times also released some very interesting photos. Fidel Castro, Noam Chomsky, Bill Clinton, literally Saudi Arabian royalty.
Yep.
And we're talking about Steve Bannon as well. Bill Gates, a dollar bill signed by Bill Gates saying I was wrong.
Yep.
All these individuals, Les Wexner just bought a house from Barack Obama in Martha's Vineyard. All of these individuals need to be questioned. And the fact that we're not getting any type of questioning, there has been a Republican committee that says that they want to have Bill and Hillary Clinton testify over what they knew about
they've been subpoenaed
and Jeffrey Epstein.
Will they say anything? No, but they have been subpoenaed.
They have been subpoenaed, and they will probably fight it as best as they can to make sure that they won't. There's new details emerging how J.D. Vance and other members of the administration, absent, of course, is Dan Bongino, but Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and J.D. Vance are all going to be convening, according to the latest reports, and meeting and trying to figure out a way to deal with the Epstein case. Deputy AG Todd Blanche is also supposed to be there, but
he's the guy that interviewed her, right?
Yeah, he's the guy who interviewed her, but they're set to sit down and discuss the handling of the case. Now, what does that mean? I think they're looking at all the poll numbers, and I think they're looking at all of the kind of trajectories for 2028. And J.D. Vance, who probably has been positioned, and Donald Trump says he would be the next kind of president of the United States. Yep. I think he's looking at all of the major kind of influencers and the polls shifting and saying, we got to do something about this. So them having a meeting with Susie Willis as well is something that I think is
staff, right?
Trump's chief of staff. His chief of staff that previously worked for Bibi Netanyahu and has a consulting firm with Pam Bondi.
I remember Hannah Claire was talking about that.
Yeah, worked for Pfizer. As Pfizer and the CEO of Pfizer now, they're delving out big bucks for Donald Trump's MAGA super PACs. So lots of very weird stuff going on here. We still haven't gotten any answers. We still haven't got any kind of conclusive evidence or data dumps or documents. And a lot of the people are still not forgetting about this story. It's still there. It's not going to go away. The decision of who gave Ghislaine Maxwell a sweetheart deal and gave her this
nobody's put their name on that.
Nobody put their name on it. And Donald Trump just a couple of moments ago denied that it was him. He said, quote, I didn't know about it at all. I read about it just like you did. It's not a very uncommon thing. It is.
It is super uncommon. Yeah.
Super uncommon, super weird, super strange. There's people who, have dealt with these type of situations their entire lives, lawyers that have come out and said that they have never, ever seen something like this ever. Super strange scenario, super strange situation that obviously benefited her greatly. As right now, we have an administration that still hasn't released anything, hasn't given the general public any kind of information. And there's this still angst of people being like, please just give us something so we could at least make sure that some of the powerful predators out there are no longer hurting children.
So what do you think the odds are that we get something at this point?
0.
This is the interesting scenario here, because who knows what in the world's going to happen here.
0.
I think I did think that, but I think there's going to be some kind of effort to try to appease the base here, because I think this has done so much political damage. JD Vance sees his kind of political rise being challenged by this.
Yeah.
Because he also made some comments about this that he faced a lot of backlash on. JD Vance said, no, Trump's telling the truth here. Trump's definitely, and Trump hasn't been. Let's just be real with ourselves here.
But he has to say that too, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think he understands that his political life is in jeopardy. And a lot of other people's political standing is in jeopardy, and they're taking this very seriously to think of some kind of approach to maybe just give something, release something. Congress is actually doing something and actually subpoenaing, Bill and Hillary Clinton. But other than that, there's nothing. There's no deadline. There's no promise. There's no guarantee. I think they're just hoping the story goes away. But if you look at all the comment section with almost everything that they're posting, all the people in the comment section are like, yeah, but what about that Epstein stuff?
Yeah,
what about, there was even an op-ed in the Times of, I think it was the Times of Jerusalem. Let me double check this, where we had
Hannah, Claire.
I just didn't realize that was Luke's favorite type of source to get information. That's surprising.
Now we know where his sources are. He's always talking about his sources.
Sources.
Yeah,
Luke is Mossad, confirmed.
There's, I don't know if it was the Times of Jerusalem.
Look it up. I'll read these quick.
The Times of Israel literally released a story saying that Donald Trump didn't bomb Iran enough because it was supposed to be a week-long bombing campaign. It was not supposed to be a short bombing campaign. And now the Israelis are holding some old documents over his head. And then this author, Yosef Yanofsky, literally wrote, it doesn't pay to start up with Israel. So look up the Times of Israel in this article, which is really kind of eye-opening to say the least here, with this Epstein stuff. And it really does highlight how so many strange things are happening here that are just unexplainable.
Well, I need you to share your login and password. I assume you're a paying subscriber. Hannah Claire.
To the Times of Israel?
Yeah. No, you get yours for free, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I still, what are the odds we get a patsy here? Somebody. I mean, there's enough people that they could, right? Like, they have people who did lie under oath. Mm-hmm. They have people that that were, that lied in front of Congress. I don't think we're ever going to get the files, which we do know exist. Pam Bondi tried to say, oh, it's all CP. Everything we have is CP. But then there's a story that came out yesterday that said the FBI poured over 100,000 documents and redacted Trump's name from them. Well,
and redacted other powerful people's name from it as well.
So, okay, where did they go? What were those documents then? So, like, Pam Bondi, like, they could go another way here and fire Pam Bondi and make her the fall guy. What do you think the chances of that?
Trump has come out and been publicly supportive of her. I feel like if she is going to go, we have at least another 6 months of Pam Bondi. I think they would distance it from this, because otherwise it makes it look like Trump's going back on himself, which he does on occasion. He does all the time. Right. Yeah. I think there's a chance. He
called Little Hands Rubio, and then yesterday he said that he'd be a great vice president.
I mean, but that's come a long way. That was like years and years between. Yeah. It's not like he called him that yesterday or during this version of his administration. I think that's one of the reasons that Rubio's selection was so interesting to people. I mean, JD Vance himself was a never Trumper and had to basically come out and be like, my mistake, guys. I was wrong. I think with all of this, there is it's unlikely we'll get something that will really satisfy people, even if we get like 2 more names off the list, and maybe that is enough, but probably not for most.
It would
people.
satisfy me if one of those names was like Bill Gates, You know what I mean? Like,
or Reid Hoffman, or
Yeah,
like
Reid
Reid
Ho-
Hoffman. I mean, for frick's sake. But as we know, there's also another involvement with like Peter Thiel here as well. So I sent you the tweet and the Times of Israel article,
got it. Yeah.
which you should pull up and read a section of, because like the author here warning that, quote, it doesn't really pay to start up with Israel, talking about how Trump didn't bomb Iran enough and how he reneged a deal to bomb them more. And that's why a lot of this stuff is being held over him, is something that a lot of people see as a reasonable explanation to what's going on here. As again, we do not know, because the documents are there. We now know Trump's name is redacted, as well as other people who are involved here. Their names are also redacted. And I think they're stuck in a position being like, okay, we have all these documents. We could release them. But if we redact Trump's name, and if we redact Bill Gates's name and all these other powerful people's names, this is only going to make us look that much worse. And they're kind of stuck in a position where they're hosting these emergency meetings with J.D. Vance now, trying to figure out a pathway to save face here. As, of course, it also came out today that Ghislaine Maxwell said that Donald Trump wasn't doing anything wrong,
Right.
that she knows of.
But she wants a pardon.
And again, even Virginia Roberts came out when she was deposed, said, yeah, Trump did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
So
that's why you got to leave him in there, Luke, don't you think? Like, if he's in the files, leave him in there.
But then get all that information out, but then don't act guilty. You're acting so guilty.
Yeah.
Right. You're making everyone say, yeah, you're definitely on this. There's something else going on here, unless there's something even else going on here. And if there is an extortion effort on the president of the United States, we need to expose it immediately, because otherwise our government is hijacked and will continue to be hijacked. Like our government is clearly, in many instances not working on behalf of the American people. And unless we clear up this extortion blackmail operation, which has been running Washington, D.C. for so long, we're going to continue to get broken promises by politicians who tell us they're going to do all these amazing things for us. And then they get into political office, and then, we get the little concessions, but those big things that actually make a difference in our life, those things are denied to us. Always.
Yeah. Well, like Hannah Claire always says in the private chat, we're like Israel West, and I don't really want that. I'm going to read